Meow meow, it's me, part 3, how I got started being a voice talent. Quick little disclaimer here. As you research more and as you go on further training to be a voice actor, you will hear a bunch of stuff, and some of it I think is straight up nonsense, but everyone's entitled to their own thoughts, opinions, and beliefs. And I really am just sharing my story here. So and so's class, or that you need to do this voice acting program, or that you are so sold on this piece of equipment or microphone that you think that you need to get started, whatever. The most important thing is for you to take the next step. And whatever that is, you need to do it because it's going to look different for you than anybody else. Everybody has their own path. If you're wondering on how to get started, I think you probably do know by now a little bit of what your next step should be, and that is really what you need to focus on beyond anything else. So, my story. How I got started, I researched it, being a voice talent, how to be a voice actor, and the first thing that I found is that you need a voice demo reel. So that is what I did. I didn't even know there were different types of voice reels, and I stumbled upon this girl's demo reel was so good. It was so good. She had obviously been doing it for a long time, and usually I research and research a lot, but I remember that during that time, after I listened to it, I didn't want to listen to anything else. I didn't want to be influenced by anything else because her reel was that good that is what I wanted to emulate. Did it, and I put a script together and I recorded it with my phone at the in the living room of the apartment that I used to live at, with no soundproofing or acoustic treatment whatsoever. And I edited with Adobe Premiere, which I didn't even know that there were audio types of equipment. I had no idea how to work Adobe Audition. So I edited on Premiere because that is what I was familiar with no video and just the audio. So then I didn't do any voice acting anything for about 6 months. And then I stumbled across this other thing, a radio social media app, reading out loud. And I would read magazines out loud and short stories from those magazines. One time I even read a magazine cover to cover. So one of the short stories from one of the magazines I loved, Beelzebub, and I decided to make that story into an entire radio play. So, with sound effects and multiple takes and editing it super carefully. So, up until that point, the only voiced anything that I had was Beelzebub and the character demo reel that I recorded with my phone. Beelzebub, I also recorded with my phone, if you must know. And that is why I'm telling you to take the next step. You don't know who's listening to your stuff. And one of my uh, classmates who I did my theater degree with listened to Beelzebub, and I know that he listened to some of my voice stuff because of social media. He asked me if I would be interested in voicing multiple characters for a project that he was working on. And I said yes, I wanted to support my friend. And I didn't know at the time, but how big of a milestone that was in a way, because for his project, I signed a non disclosure agreement. And that now I know that it is one of the milestones as a voice talent. Another milestone would be getting paid for the first time, getting your first IMDb credit is another milestone, and signing an NDA is a milestone. And that was my first project. So that I started working on that at the end of 2020, and I finished with that project in 2021. And in 2022 is when I decided to take this more seriously. So that is when I started taking classes that were focused on voice acting. And I found the closing credits online voice acting school, and I enrolled in Voice Acting 101 at the beginning of this year in January. And then I went on to take Voice Acting 201. And at the same time as 201, I enrolled in a in-person voice and diction class at a local college, and I would highly recommend taking voice and diction. Apparently it's kind of a standard class in some programs, so it's possible that you can find it at a local college. Especially if you are scared of in-person type of stuff, I would definitely encourage you to take an in-person voice class that is available in your area. So then I decided to take a break from the closing credits school for the summer because um, voice and diction and 201 were in the spring semester. So for the summer, I decided to explore, learn from somebody else, learn from other people, discover and explore. So I then enrolled with Voiceover Elite Academy by Anthony Pica. And that is when I started noticing that even though this is the voice industry, that there's even more detailed niche in this business. So voice um Elite Academy is more voiceover artist slash commercial based, and closing credits is more acting based. And a lot of people, even some of my mentors, use the terms voice actor, voice talent, voiceover artist interchangeably. And to me, words have power and naming things have power. So they mean different things to me. I think if you identify as a voice actor, it implies that you are also in theater, or you are also in film, or that you are part of that performing arts world. And similarly, being a voice talent, that is how I identify. Like, how cool is that? What other job has the word talent in it? Like, how cool. So I identify as a voice talent, and similarly with voice actor, I think that implies that you will be seeking representation at some point, that you are interested in potentially being union further down the line, or voice talent to me symbolizes that you are also trained with a background in singing, or that you are currently practicing singing, which I am. So I identify as a voice talent. Voice over artist to me is more commercial based, so either mainly voicing for promos. I think voiceover artist is kind of like the modern radio type of work. So commercials or narration, I think voiceover artists are the type of people that go on to teach voiceover. And I know that a lot of people say, like, oh, being a voiceover artist is acting, but I think that if you are mainly voicing commercials, you're not really acting. Acting to me means characters, and that's what I think. So, yes, different niche in the industry. And now I'm going to share some of the resources that have helped me. My number one is backstage.com. I love this website. I love how it looks. I love how it works. They obviously take care of keeping their website useful and modern and appealing and aesthetically pleasing. So I love my Backstage account. And I would also recommend acx.com. Some of the most funnest auditions that I've done have been for audio book auditions that get posted on ACX. And this next one, I don't even want to mention. I have met some people that are really busy on Fiverr. I just haven't had a good experience. And even from the people that are really busy on Fiverr, I've heard complaint after complaints after complaints. So I don't know how some people keep up in there because it sounds terrible to me, but some people like it. Check it out. That could be your next step. Also, Upwork. I feel I can't really review this one too well because I have an account, but I haven't filled it out. So my next step, one of my next steps. And the other thing that I would recommend is local agencies. If you're in an area that you are able to submit to local agencies, you have no reason not to. Like Backstage, some people are like scared like of that. Oh, well, why should I be giving somebody 20% of my work when I'm starting out or not that good or whatever excuse made out of fear that you have. Backstage, Fiverr, these sites, they all take their cut. So it is really not that different. It's just in person, local, getting your name in your area versus online. I think online is even more crowded. So if you're able to, I would suggest to apply to local agencies. And I want to circle back for a minute here about having a really strong reason why you are doing this. Because I have been doing this, since the beginning of the year. It is now September. I know that I am making progress, that I'm making waves, that I'm really just getting started. But sometimes I do feel like this is not enough. Like I'm just playing with myself here. Like this is all for nothing. I am not seeing any remuneration on my investment. Like it's just a waste. And I think about that reason why, and I wake up in the morning and do some more auditions, or I make voice talent videos, or it keeps me going. So keep that strong why. You need that solid. And I definitely plan to somehow say thank you to my, coworker who first pointed me in this direction. And we'll definitely also have to thank my psychic classmate, somehow get back in touch with her and somehow say thanks. And also my significant other. Without their love and support and encouragement, I would not be here talking to you about being a voice talent. And that is my gratitude minute here. I would also like to share my next steps as a voice talent, like I said, Upwork. Uh, and I did recently submit to local agencies. I am now enrolled in Voice Acting 301 with closing credits, and my also enrolled in a local college in person class for musical theater. So, singing and totally out of my comfort zone there right now. I just started. And those have been my and that's what I've been up to, and those are my next steps. And that is how I got started as a voice talent. Signing off. Meow meow.